Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're going to completely rethink one of our most deeply ingrained daily habits. I mean, since we were kids, most of us have been told that eating 3 square meals a day is literally the bedrock of a healthy life, right? But what if that constant cycle of eating and digesting is actually holding you back? What if skipping just one meal could unlock a massive wave of biological upgrades and totally transform your daily routine? We're diving into some truly fascinating research today to explore the massive lifestyle and health impacts of ditching that 3-meal-a-day habit. Grab a seat because the science here is absolutely going to blow your mind.
All right, let's dive right into this. What actually happens to your body if you stop eating 3 meals a day? I want you to really picture this physical transformation. A lot of people are terrified that skipping a meal means they're going to be starving, they'll lose all their muscle, or just feel completely exhausted. But the research actually points to the exact opposite. By shifting to a 2-meal-a-day schedule, you aren't just, cutting calories. You are literally flipping biological switches that have been sitting completely dormant inside of you.
So here's our roadmap for today. Think of it kind of like a ripple effect. First, we'll look at the cellular miracle of hunger. Second, appearance and brain rejuvenation. Third, resting your organs and preventing diseases. And finally, the massive money and time savings you can get.
Okay, starting off with Section 1, the miracle of cells from hunger.
Think about it. When you eat 3 meals a day, your body literally never gets a break. But when you fast, your body suddenly realizes, hey, no outside nutrients are coming in right now. So what does it do? It gets highly efficient. It turns on a process called autophagy. Basically, this is your body's internal recycling center. It starts breaking down old, damaged, basically garbage cells, and it extracts their nutrients to build fresh, youthful, super efficient new cells. This recycling process, it's the true secret behind the anti-aging effects of fasting.
And building right on top of that, fasting also activates what we call sirtuin genes. You might have heard them called longevity genes. Research out of Harvard University shows that these genes fire up during periods of fasting, and when they turn on, they do something completely incredible. They actually repair damaged DNA. They also boost the function of your mitochondria, the little energy factories inside your cells, and they actually extend the overall lifespan of the cell itself. Plus, by repairing that DNA damage, sirtuin genes help prevent the kind of cellular division errors that can ultimately lead to cancer. Pretty amazing, right?
And the best part? This is incredibly simple to pull off. You absolutely do not need some grueling days-long fast to trigger autophagy and wake up those sirtuin genes. Actually, they typically kick in after just about 16 hours. So let's say you finish dinner by 8 p.m., you get a good night's sleep, skip breakfast the next morning, and then eat lunch at noon. Boom, you've effortlessly hit that 16-hour window. I mean, you literally spend most of the fast just sleeping.
Moving on to Section 2, appearance and brain rejuvenation. Now, if you're at all worried about thinning or graying hair, you're going to want to listen closely to this. When you are constantly eating 3 meals a day, your body produces really high levels of a protein called mTOR. And mTOR actually suppresses melanocytes. Those are the cells responsible for keeping your hair dark and healthy. But by simply dropping down to 2 meals, you suppress that mTOR. This lets those color-producing melanocytes wake back up and reactivate. On top of that, fasting promotes the growth of brand new capillaries right in your scalp. That means better blood flow, more oxygen, and more nutrients getting straight to your hair follicles. The result? Thicker, healthier hair. Okay, we have to address a super common myth here, the idea that skipping meals makes you lose muscle. Actually, research shows that during fasting, your growth hormone secretion can spike up to 5 times its normal rate, especially when you're sleeping after skipping that evening meal or skipping breakfast. Plus, because your insulin levels drop when you aren't eating, your body stops relying on glucose for fuel and starts mobilizing fatty acids instead. So you are literally burning fat while building and preserving muscle, as long as those 2 meals you do eat have some good quality protein.
And this cellular magic doesn't stop at your muscles or hair. It translates into some massive cognitive upgrades too. First off, these brain immune cells called astrocytes actually calm down, which reduces the chronic inflammation that's tied to cognitive decline and dementia. Second, your brain switches over to burning ketone bodies. Ketones are basically a premium, highly efficient fuel source. They make your brain feel incredibly sharp and energized, totally different from feeling sluggish on way too much glucose. And finally, fasting increases something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of BDNF as your brain's master repairman. It actively creates new neural pathways, completely enhancing your memory, your focus, and your ability to learn.
All right, on to Section 3, resting your organs and preventing diseases.
So, research out of Johns Hopkins University highlighted that during a fast, a major inflammatory marker called C-reactive protein, or CRP, drops significantly. To put that into perspective, you can think of inflammation as these tiny internal fires burning inside your body, and oxidative stress as your cells essentially rusting from the inside out. When your cells are constantly inflamed and rusting, they have to divide rapidly just to repair the damage. And the more they divide, the higher the chance of a genetic error happening, which is exactly how cancer forms. Fasting basically grabs a hose to put out those fires and scrubs away all that rust.
Even if you eat super healthily, packing in 3 meals a day means your liver and kidneys are working 24/7 to filter out trace food additives, excess sodium, and toxins. Dropping just one meal gives them a desperately needed vacation. For your liver, fasting helps melt away that stubborn visceral fat around the abdomen, which protects you against fatty liver disease. For your kidneys, shifting into parasympathetic nervous system dominance helps stabilize your blood pressure. And what about your gut? Well, skipping a meal lets your entire digestive tract finally rest. This allows your gut microbiome to thrive and produce butyric acid, which actively fights off colon cancer.
And take a look at the difference in bile secretion. When you're eating 3 meals a day, your liver is constantly draining its own energy just to produce bile for digestion. But when you switch to 2 meals, your bile secretion settles into a really stable, healthy rhythm. And surprisingly enough, this restorative downtime actually improves your digestion. Because the rhythm is stabilized, your body becomes vastly more efficient at absorbing crucial fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A and vitamin D, which are absolutely essential for keeping your immune system strong.
Which brings us to Section 4, Massive Money and Time Savings.
Let's talk practicality for a second. Think about a standard, say, 1,000 yen fast food lunch. If you're eating 3 meals a day, it's so easy to get a little lazy and just grab something quick, kind of expensive, and totally nutritionally void, simply because you know you're going to eat again in a few hours anyway. But when you restrict yourself to just 2 meals a day, something really interesting shifts psychologically. You instinctively realize that you need to make those meals count. You naturally start avoiding the expensive, low-quality junk food, and instead, you actively seek out high-quality proteins and vitamins.
And this creates an unbelievable, compounding, positive feedback loop. It's like a true fasting return on investment. First off, by simply cutting out one meal, you're reducing your food budget by roughly 33%. That can easily save you hundreds of thousands of yen over the course of a year. Second, you completely eliminate the time spent prepping, eating, and cleaning up a third meal. That gives you an extra 1 to 1.5 hours of completely free time every single day. Time to focus on a hobby or just kick back and relax. And finally, by avoiding lifestyle diseases like diabetes and high blood pressure, you are drastically slashing your future medical bills.
Wow, okay, we've covered a ton of ground today. From activating your body's cellular recycling center and growing healthier hair, all the way to saving cold hard cash and giving your brain a high-octane fuel source. So I want to leave you with this one simple question. Will you eat breakfast tomorrow? Take a moment to really reflect on your daily energy levels, your grocery bills, and your long-term health. The power to trigger these biological miracles is quite literally in your hands. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this sparks a brand new perspective on exactly how you fuel your life.